Hello, lovely folks on the internet and readers of poetry and lovers of poetry. My name is Aris Kian, and welcome to the CookOut Lit Mag's virtual reading and release show. It's so good to have this out, first and foremost. I want to thank Right About Now for allowing us all to be here in this space. I'm very, very thankful to Amir Safi and, of course, Chibi, who's literally killing it backstage right now on this virtual reading. Y'all, this is a long time coming. This magazine, this journal came out of the movement towards ensuring that Black artists, Black writers, Black poets have an avenue to get their voices heard, to get their words spoken in a space that actually cares about them and loves them and focuses on their future. And so, of course, with this magazine, we also had a prize winner, and we were ensuring that the money that goes into communities actually gives back to communities. So we're very, very thankful to all be here in this space and to see the ways in which not only our energy and our love for Black folks, but also our dollars can invest back into those people and their families and their futures in writing. So I'm just thankful for everybody here. I'm thankful for y'all actually coming through. Y'all are really, really brilliant. Folks who have supported this channel, folks who've supported poems that they loved and cared about and shared it on their own social media. That makes all of this possible. Once again, my name is Aris Kian. I am not only your host for this afternoon, but I'm also the editor-in-chief of the CookOut Lit Mag. So very, very thankful for being given this opportunity. Slowly but surely, this came along, and I want to read y'all just a little quick introduction to the editor's note of the CookOut Lit Mag, which is available. A free copy is available on rightaboutnowpoetry.com/TCO. And you can check that out at any time, share it, send it to your friends, send it to people who think they don't like poetry. They're all going to love it. Here's a little introduction to why this was written, why this is here, why this is necessary. Dear reader, what brings me to this collection and ultimately to this art form is the dedication to the written and oral tradition that lit a fire within us in the first place. We create poetry not because we were taught what a poem was, but because for the poet, language is often the most effective tool to articulate the human experience. We're in a moment in history where public engagement with poetry is at an all-time high, where those whose voices have historically gone unheard are breaking through across a multitude of platforms, be it social media posts, protest signs, or shared discussions across the dinner table. Our pull towards language often unearths the most intimate of us that aches to be revealed. With the CookOut Literary Journal, that revelation, that shared space, that pull towards a community that seeks to understand and be understood continues to unfold over the course of the next several pages that you'll read and the next several poets that you'll hear. Every poem is born out of an ongoing tradition of experiencing and sharing language. And for Black writers, authors, and poets, we often find those experiences alongside others, watching someone spit a poem for the first time at an open mic, sharing new words with a group of friends, cheering in the audience as someone spills out their heart in a slam. These poems cling towards someone, something asking to be listened to, even if first by the poet who wrote it. These poems have both their literary hands out, aiming to touch, and oh, do they. Y'all, we have a really, really, really amazing show for you today. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to introduce the poets that are coming up. You'll be hearing from a lot of our amazing contributors for this journal. Also, poets, if you're watching and listening, feel free to make comments in the chat. Feel free to send and share onto your own personal socials. Everyone who's watching and reading, feel free to just click that share button and to share these works. We have the poet Sullivan, DeeSoul, the Shootah, Ryan, Ayanna, Fresh Linen, and Anthony McPherson coming up. So first and foremost, we'll have the poet Sullivan. Would you like to come up? And we're gonna have you read a couple of your words. First of all, how are you doing today? How are you feeling?
Okay, I'm fine. Though I'm a bit nervous because this is my first time doing this. So I should be nervous, and I am.
That's really good. I think nervous energy really manifests into excitement and really like pushes your work forward. So I'm glad to have you, and nervous is good. I can't wait for you to read your work. I'm gonna read your bio really quickly, and then I'm gonna let you read your poem. Sullivan is a keen writer from Ebonyi State, Nigeria. He has works published or forthcoming in Shore Poetry, Journal 9, Inverse Journal, The Lake, ISNT, and several other places. You can be reached on Twitter at WordsPotterSoul1. Go ahead, take it away, Sullivan. We're glad to hear you.
Okay. The title of my poem is Necropsy. My father opens up his body into a mug. Says it's the safest way to unmake a faulty body and name it an overpopulated community of silence, called penance. Doctrine. Everything strokes him into his chemic island, and when God ignores the works of his hands, blood becomes a terrible enjambment that runs into streams of sugar until a man's bladder becomes a flooded crater at the mercy of an infirmary. I saw how my father betrayed his hospital bed the moment the 7 patients beside him died. He returned home with his pallid body, unworthy to be called a miracle. But who will out of culture trust the earth enough to throw an open invitation to the grave during a feast, when the grave itself is a greedy glutton? Who? Who? I still fear. I fear that when next it rains heavily and the earth tricks him into a pot-bellied river, his banks may become a popular drunk, and I don't trust the longevity of such gift. Chaos. He says to me, son, sometimes we look so skimpy after the torture from death. Other times we plumage vigor when the sun's rays hit us in the right places. In all, always walk away from the tough drinking you into a surge. I shaved my tongue into a padre and performed a benediction of survival on his behalf. And I hope the incense from this liturgy clears up the flood in his body. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You said, but who will out of the culture trust earth enough to throw an open invitation to the grave during the feast when the grave itself is a greedy glutton? Ooh. As a prize winner, how have you thought about your words and thought about your poetry since winning?
Okay. Usually, I'm this kind of person that is that much introverted. So I've always been in my dim light room trying to write about myself, about my life, about the world revolving around me. And usually, before the coming of the prize, I felt I was just doing it for myself. That it was just for me. Nobody was there to get to hear me. And then I submitted for this prize, and I saw the email telling me that I am the winner of the prize. So it was actually a very big breakthrough, and that's actually a confirming that I, who has been battling with self-imposter syndrome, is being heard from far away to that place that probably I may wish to be someday. So it's actually a validation to my own quest of being a writer who wishes to write about himself.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your words. And absolutely, you are heard. We read this poem and was absolutely blown away. Where can people find you? Where can they find your words, social media?
Okay, you can get to see more of my works from my Facebook, because I'm very active on Facebook with my name, that is Nwuguru Chidiebere Sullivan. Then on Twitter, I'm also very active on Twitter with the username at WordPotterSoul1. So there I share any of my publication through those social medias.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So good to hear from you. And next up, we have coming to the stage, Darnell, DeeSoul, Carson, one of our finalists for the prize. How are you doing, DeeSoul?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very, very, very good. How are you feeling around reading the release? Are you excited about it? What are your thoughts right now?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so blessed to be here. So blessed to be picked as a finalist. You know, my heart is so full for right about now and this journal.
Perfect. Well, feel free to take it away whenever you got it.
All right, everyone. I'm so glad to be reading my work for you today. And this is my poem called Church Cousins. Because someone's asked the question, and now we have to go through all the trouble of explaining how exactly are we related again and how we aren't. exactly. It's just that our families have broken bread on too many occasions for us to remember. Our mothers sang together in the choir long before we had the language to speak to one another, before we argued during Sunday school, before you stole my extra serving of animal crackers during the lesson on Noah's Ark. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I know we aren't related exactly, and I also know that sometimes I'm not sure if I believe in God or just want to, but I know if we're acting up in the pews and Auntie points at us from the choir stand with the look that says, y'all gonna get this ass whooping after service, both of us better start praying. I know our fathers put the same Holy Ghost fire in their hands when they unspared the rod. I know. I don't know. I don't know when the blood that covers us and the blood that runs through our veins became the same thing, but I know when we communion, as often as we do, I do it in remembrance of you. Before I had Christ, you were the gospel I sang on my way to church, my protection as I passed the car crash on the I-5, my Fred Hammond and Kirk Franklin and Mary. When asked how we're related, I say I've known you like scripture. Like something that's been in me long before I belonged to myself. Oh, how your love kept me and keeps me and carries me through all my weary days. Oh, my altar, how I come to you at my lowest. The night my friend divorced his spirit from his body. The days I wasn't sure if I could keep from doing the same. When I asked for mercy, it is you, always you, who rebukes my hands. Pray stomps my urge to make a tomb of myself. Convinces me heaven can wait a day. When I pray for deliverance, you are never too far behind. Thank you.
Whew, come on. What I know when we communion as often as we do, I drink in remembrance of you. Come on, poet. This is such a lovely, lovely poem. And I'm very glad that it speaks to a lot of the themes of like community and connection that are in this journal. Lovely, lovely work. Where can people find you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Venmo, Cash App, all at DeeSoul Poetry. I will happily take any of those those communications.
Absolutely.
And you can also find my work and everything at DeeSoulPoetry.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, DeeSoul. Next up, we have LeChell, the Shootah RH. Feel free to come through. It's so good to have you. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I can't complain, sis. Good to see you as always.
As always, I'm so excited to hear anything that you read. Feel free to take it away whenever you got it.
All right. Gentrification. The process whereby the character of a poor urban area is changed by wealthier people moving in, improving housing, and attracting new business, typically displacing current inhabitants in the process. Or the process of making someone or something more refined, polite, or respectable. Oxford Languages. A queer white man says his alter ego be a Black woman named Keisha, and Black women give a communal gasp. Once again displaced from our own bodies, made a refugee in our own homes, call it ghetto, then blackface a whitewash costume for the fashion shows, magazine covers, give it a new name like boxer braids or mini buns, give it a television show and record deals, concert tickets my aesthetic will sell out but can't afford to buy, so you can cash me outside the venue. What a privilege to take on a persona not your own and be loved for it. Never suffer the consequences, yet reap all the benefits. White gay men be the poster children for the queer community, be the only flesh worthy of this identity, holding power that Black femmes died for. Poem.
Ooh. Let's talk about a poem that packs a punch. You said every line. Very, very, very beautiful. I'm so glad to have your work a part of this journal. Where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm on all social platforms at by LeChell, BYLECHELL. That is also my website, so you can check out more on my work. And if you're just trying to cash app your girl, LeChell RH, exactly what it looks like. So that's all.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Feel free, y'all, to check out all of these poets so far. And as you're listening, feel free to read alongside. Go to wanpoetry.com/TCO, and you can download the journal right then and there, and you can read alongside. We have many poets that have contributed to this magazine, to this journal, given their words. And so there's a lot that aren't here right now, so you can just read them casually. But next, coming up to the stage, we got Ryan Boyland. Feel free to come through. It's so good to have you. Hello.
Hello. Nice to be here.
It's nice to have you here. How are you feeling today?
I'm all right, a little bit tired, but I'm excited. All these poets are rejuvenating me,
Absolutely. I feel that 100%. Feel free to spit your poem whenever you got it.
All right, cool. In my opinion, a joke is a lot like a metaphor. You see, they both have the same structure. You have the setup, then the punchline. Like, her voice played a song on my heartstrings. The setup is her voice played a song, the punchline on my heartstrings. Or, two poets walk into a bar. This is the setup. One says, ouch, the other writes a poem about the bar owner making the space unsafe. This is the punchline. I know I'm not funny, but you get the point. You have the buildup, the tension, give them something they expect, then take it away. Example. Arizona frat house hosts an MLK theme party. This is the setup. The punchline is they wore baggy pants and served watermelon. Or, Freddie Gray was found dead in the back of a police van following his arrest. 2 weeks later, a Baltimore police cruiser is found painted with the words, enjoy your ride, 'cause we sure will. And I know a homicide doesn't normally lend itself to laughter, but this is just the kind of dark humor we deal with around here. Call it black comedy. Or, when a Missouri security guard living a stone's throw away from Ferguson asked for a Trayvon Martini, Michael Brown was laughing in his grave. Apparently, it's made from 1 part watermelon juice and 1 shot of vodka. And it only takes 1 shot because it only took 1 shot to put him down. And isn't it funny? The way black folds into watermelon just as easily as a body bag. Or, local police find a dead black boy covered in chains at the bottom of the Tallahatchie River. The sheriff turns to his deputy and says, ain't it just like a nigger to steal more chain than he can carry? And all of Mississippi is still laughing and burning. And somewhere in Chicago, a closet of boys' clothes is waiting to be sold to pay for a casket. On October 22nd, 2018, Megyn Kelly cracked open her mouth just wide enough to let spill out the ghosts of Al Jolson and D.W. Griffith. Blackface is a humor reserved for those ignorant as to how easily a stubborn oak can become a burning cross. Kelly says she doesn't understand the problem. And I get that. I suppose a Klansman is a lot less intimidating when your mother is the one who stitched the hood. These days, I can't worry about becoming a hashtag when my death is already the punchline. It's funny, the way a white mouth can become a black hole, and isn't that the best kind of erasure? Saying names so many times it becomes a joke. Say it again and the sound of white laughter ruffles the sound of thousands of nooses still swinging from poplar trees. Say it again and we forget why we were ever crying. Say it again and everything disappears. Everything fades to black. Thank you.
Whew. Ryan. Thank you so much for this poem. Thank you so much for sharing your words. This was such a necessary piece. I'm so glad it's a part of this this journal. I do want to take a breath because I know that is a very, very heavy poem. Thank you for being willing to share it with us. Where can people find you, Ryan?
Once again, thank you for having me. Thank you right about now for having me. All of my socials are just my name, Ryan Boyland, Boyland. You can see them below. Because I'm not creative enough to come up with a stage name, unfortunately. But again, thank you for having me.
Hey, don't you ever disrespect my favorite poet of this second, right? Like ever again. Like, don't you ever. Okay. Don't you ever. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
Y'all, these poets are giving so much. They are giving so much of their spirits, their hearts. I encourage you to find your new favorite poet, even if it's your favorite poet of that minute, even if it's your favorite poet as the time you're listening to them. Follow their socials, support their upcoming poems, the things that they have coming out, watch their videos, and also share this stream. Get people seeing that this magazine is coming out, that it's out now at wanpoetry.com/TCO. Very, very beautiful. Please take time if you need to. There's a lot of heavy material, but there's also a wide range of material in this journal because that is the Black experience. It's nuanced. It's all encapsulating. There's no singular story. And so we wanted to ensure that all voices are represented. Next up, we have coming to the mic, we have poet Ayanna Albertson.
Hello, hello.
Hello. How you feeling today, Ayanna?
I feel good. It's sunny here. So
I love that for you.
A little serotonin.
Come on. Get that vitamin D in.
Yes.
Beautiful. Yes. Feel free to start your poem whenever you got it.
Okay. Trigger warning to infertility. I have known way too many Black women's womb turned casket. Have seen decaying fruit plucked from her tree right before its rightful ripening, how she magically carried the world on her shoulders, but can't hold on to the life that she prayed for. I have known way too many Black women bury children they never got a chance to raise, never got to teach them all the ways to stay alive, to survive a world that won't always want them here. I have heard the begging prayers of a broken woman, how mocking it is to hear the cry of life beside your hospital room, how the labor and delivery floor don't always have happy endings, how the bathroom a bad and bloody memory, how guilt and shame scream in the silence of her disbelief, how her body a betrayal of trust and dependency. I have witnessed the weight of what a beatless ultrasound can do to one's psyche, how group therapy be a reminder and not a relief, how grief be far too familiar a feeling. Infertility is the plague Black communities continue to suffer through but forget to talk about, how her womb a tomb for a child she has already given a name, how her faith is fighting to feel like faith again, how her faith is failing to feel like faith anymore. I have seen the burden of a Black mother carrying the cross of a failed resurrection, how selfish of God to only bring back his son, how cruel to know this world may have crucified him anyway, how society wished to blame it on her soil, but forgets to mention the disparities affecting her flower bed, doesn't hold the medical hands that tend to her garden accountable, doesn't factor in structural racism or the history of unfair healthcare practices that complicate conception, how the system still ain't in the business of saving our seeds, won't give Black mothers the chance to see their sons shine. Perhaps it's because they don't want to see us grow, how we too rooted in resilience to let them stop us from rising. You see, Black women, we don't wilt for long. How she used to be giving more than she can bear. Don't always get to reap the fruits of her labor, but she be a tree, grounded, unmoved, unbroken, and still she is worthy of this harvest. A budding bundle of joy, bone of her bone and flesh of her flesh, a flower she can hold, alive and blooming.
Woo! Her faith is fighting to feel like faith again. Ayanna, please. Please, you are giving. I appreciate your words every time I hear them. Where can people find you?
You can find me at Untouchable Yarn on pretty much any and everything. IG, TikTok, Twitter, all the good things. And yeah, just support. Go to the website and just support as much as you can.
Absolutely, and will do. Thank you so much, y'all. Please follow these poets on all of their socials, look at their websites, and don't forget to download this journal so you can read all their words over and over again. Next up, we have the poet Fresh Linen.
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. I love anything wine. So yeah.
Likewise,
awesome.
I'm so glad that you're here. Feel free to go for it whenever you got it.
Okay, cool. So this piece is called South 18th Street. And just a quick little background, that's where I spent a lot of my childhood in Jersey. No, you can't coming in or out for you. Got a plate and you best be eating something. And take your sister with you. Grandma watching pictures, granddad in the kitchen. And hey, you better be home for them street lights come on. The air smells like the last day of school. Fainting sounds of the principal's well wishes while we wisp our way through the hallways. Promise to always find all ways to keep in touch, we lied. But your crush and best friend saying I'll miss you felt good. Summer sunshine greets our smiles while Cadillacs and Hondas pick up the future. Radios brag about the driver's taste at traffic lights. You sprint past the street lights, but try to roll your feet so your Walkman don't skip. If the CD scratched, then back to plan A, B. You waited all night to record your favorite jams on this cassette. that was low-key your father's mixtape to your mother back in the day. Oops. Oh well. For the time being, everything is timeless. Shoe untied and no real problems to tie us down. On your way home, you see that the fire hydrant block party already started. Your school shoes and school clothes got a whole summer to get back to normal. You dance to the club music and talk to strangers, but if anybody's stranger than them strays into the party, they'll protect you. It takes a village. Today, we seem to forget. Your black Power Ranger watch starts beeping as it's been too long, and you're drenched. Swing by the corner store before checking in with the barbers. You see if they don't see you walk by, then it's a problem. Store feels like Abuelo's music and smells like Tia's casa. Cashier is not of kin, but we all call him Poppy. He makes us take off our book bags at the door. Don't blame him for the precaution. Bullet holes in the glass, PTSD from the hood trying to rob him. The corner is home to tall boys with big shirts, always calling you Lil Man. They make sure you like girls, so you lie and say you got like 4-5 girlfriends. Do what you can to stand out enough to fit in. They're never in class, but they give you a couple dollars and say stay in school. Dad said they're bums, but they don't look like the crackheads singing off key. Always calling us cousin, but they're never at the house to eat. Probably because they have no teeth. Grandma and granddad on the porch, hands on hips and fighting back a smile. Grandma looks in the sky and says, we took a while. Granddad with his Newports and a 40 tells her to leave us alone, we made it. She rolls her eyes and sings, no, you can't coming in or out for you. Got a plate and you best be eating something. Now take your sister with you. Grandma watching pictures, granddad in the kitchen, and hey, you better be home for them street lights, come on. That's it. Thank you.
Come on, let's go, Fresh Linen. You got me right back to that like childhood fire hydrant block party energy. Like absolutely. Such good energy, such good energy. And I love the overlaps. There's like the line about the cousins that feels like that overlap with DeeSoul's church cousins. Come on, we love to see it. Absolutely. Fresh Linen, where can people find you?
So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as GEO Fresh Linen. And then I'm not really on Twitch that much, but you can find me at Fresh Linen Creates. And then my website is freshlinencreates.com. And that's where my album is. You can buy my book there and everything too. So yeah.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you so much for sharing with us, y'all. I'm so excited to read this journal over and over. Please go support these poets, follow their Instagrams, download this journal at wanpoetry.com/TCO. Next poet we have coming to the mic, we got Anthony McPherson.
Oh, hello.
How you feeling? What's good? What's good? What's good?
Oh, I'm all right. Can't complain. How you feeling?
I'm feeling these glasses as well. They're really doing something.
I'm old. Hurts the eyes to look at screens too long.
I respect it. I absolutely respect it. Feel free to start whenever you got it.
All right, bad. So there's this type of poem called A Golden Shovel, which I've never written before. The form was originated by a poet named Terrence Hayes, a legend. And for the few of y'all who don't know how it goes, I'm sure y'all all are smarter than me and been knowing about this, but I didn't know about it until recently. But how it works is you take a quote, like let's say the quote is happy birthday. You break that quote up so that the first line ends with happy and the second line ends with birthday. So you might be like, I am never happy, especially on my birthday. And that's a golden shuffle. My quote is by Marsha P. Johnson, and it goes, history isn't something you look back on and say it was inevitable. And my poem goes like this. The closest thing to destiny is history. The dead determine who is and isn't born human. Most of us start off as something to be used, but once they're no longer allowed to use you, you're as human as you've ever been. But to them, you look like trash, an expired object. They want to bring you back to your formal, acceptable place of purpose. They want you in prison, in the kitchen, in the closet, in the system. And if they aren't able to recycle you, they want you in the garbage. They say there's just evil people in the world. Nothing we can do about it. But no, there's just dehumanizing ideologies in the world that pollute the world. And there was always another choice, always something we can do about it. But they chose to delay and worsen the inevitable. Our inevitable. Golden Shovel poem.
Anthony, you better give us a little form lesson real quick. You said, hey, let me give you this little academy lesson. Wow, very, very beautiful. And what I love about this form is that as you read it out loud, you kind of have a different experience than when you see it on the page. So like the word on being broken up and being prisoned, that's so beautiful and it's so necessary. Very, very wonderful work. I will close read this poem all day. Anthony, where can folks find you?
So you can see it,
This is one of the ones you have to see. It's literally on the page. It really, really works. Thank you so much for sharing this. Where can folks find you?
Just Linktree/McPherson Poetry. If you're young, I'm on TikTok. If you're old, I'm on Facebook. So.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you so much. Y'all, please go look at this poem. There's so many of these poems also play with form and really experiment on the page, and they're very, very wonderfully done. Go check out this poem and all the rest of the poems on wanpoetry.com/TCO. Download it, share it with your friends. And last but not least, we have the poet, Alexandra the Great. Feel free to come through. Hello, how you feeling?
I'm good. How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm so happy to have you. Feel free to start reading your poem whenever you got it.
And I, in turn, am so happy to be here. Grateful for this space that I can share and be a part. I'm being thrived here. So the title of this is called "There is a Noun I Can't Pronounce," and it's written as a entry in a dictionary definition. So a noun is properly defined as a person, place, or thing. Person, hugging the block, dapping it up, building his own language brick by brick with tools the ancestors sent. First class, high priority, VIP, red carpet treated royally, speaks with a 2-syllable tongue. Diaspora by definition, a renaissance, a revolution, masterpiece. God's anointed child. Place, 19th century, Jim Crow, the American South, the Atlantic Ocean transatlantic trading bodies, Confederacy, traveling between two worlds, city streets, Southern roots, metaphysical, transcending time and space, heaven's gate. Thing, a creature, property, contradictory, inanimate object, 3/5 of a human, having no natural birthrights, being full of ignorance, lacking in knowledge, ingenious, rejecting the king's English, of the utmost importance, the realest. The noun was nigga. Thank y'all.
So brilliant. So beautiful. This also works very, very well on the page, seeing all of the words next to each other and the relationship to each other under each category. Just so brilliant. Thank you for sharing this with the journal. I'm so glad to have it.
Thank you. Thanks.
Absolutely. Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me online. My Instagram handle is Follow the Great. I still tweet Alex the Great with #1, and I do Facebook for the older folks too. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thanks. Oh, my website is alexthegreat.com too. But yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Y'all. Whew, first and foremost, I would like for y'all to all fan y'all's screens, y'all's cameras, y'all's rooms, because we just literally got so much fire real quick, just so much heat. Y'all, I'm so grateful for all of the poets that contributed. There's all of their poems and more in these journals. In this journal, when you download it and you share it, I'm so grateful for the multitude of experiences that have come together to collectively create this massive, amazing piece of work. Very thankful for all the people who are willing to read and contribute and edit and, you know, talk to people about it. This has been a long time coming project. And so please feel free to rewind and rewatch, listen to all these poets again, find their poems in the journal, go to wanpoetry.com/TCO. You'll see the rest of my little editor's note. Y'all, I'm so grateful for this project. So grateful for y'all who listened and for all of y'all who shared. Grateful to be a part of this project alongside all of y'all. And of course, thank you so much to Chibi for doing all of this background work on this virtual reading, and to Amir Safi, who makes all of this come to pass, makes all of this possible. Thank y'all so much, and we're out. Thank you so much.